Well, at least this one's going to be a lot easier. So if you want to play an MCU Avengers game, then this is pretty much it. The story only really covers the first Avengers movie in Age of Ultron. It's extremely easy. I was able to beat it within 8 hours. There's no real failure state because the game is aimed at a younger demographic, and this is self-parody. The humor is dialed up as much as possible, and it basically kills any possibility for any feeling of tension whatsoever. It's an action game that sort of has puzzles and platforming in it, but you're just repeating on-screen instructions. You never have to think. It's as mindless as possible. There's tons of busy work that serves no real purpose outside of the story. You can unlock characters and vehicles and stuff, but there's really nothing to do with any of that stuff practically. It's easy enough for literally anyone to play it, but I personally didn't find it all that fun. It's just another Lego game, and nobody really cares about the MCU anymore, so this is a game for pretty much nobody. So there's 384 possible games left for me to try, and we're gonna see what I get this time. Well, I don't have a lot of experience with XCOM, but as long as I can get it to run, I'll play it. So XCOM Interceptor ended up being kind of a dud for me, because I could play it for like 30 minutes. I could get into one dogfight, and then whenever I got to the second dogfight, I'd just have the game crash and I couldn't do anything about it. And the game's not very popular, so there's not exactly a lot of information about how to fix it. And I'm on Windows 10, and I tried all the compatibility mode stuff, so I just have to kind of let it go. And I checked some websites too and couldn't find any information about it. Like, usually the PC game wiki is really helpful, but I didn't see anything about XCOM Interceptor really on it. So it looks like it's like XCOM base building stuff combined with spaceship dogfighting that's a little bit reminiscent of like the old Star Wars X-Wing games. So a similar radar and some like power management distribution stuff and things like that. But I barely got to play it, and I wish I could have played it because I actually love space game stuff. So all I can do now is just spin the wheel again and hope I get something that'll actually run properly. Well, this one's different. So I guess this is what I'm doing. It's an adventure game. For those of you who don't know, Doomsday is a sequel to the Deponia trilogy. Deponia was about a main character, Rufus, trying to enter a paradise city in the sky from the surface of a junk planet, something he attempted to do by any means necessary. Rufus would both be very lucky and also suffer karmic backlash for being a selfish guy. This struggle helped endear many people to a character that genuinely is a bad, selfish person in most circumstances. However, in many scenarios, Rufus would actually prioritize the lives and safety of others over his personal happiness. Keep in mind, the original trilogy leaves no room for a sequel. Deponia Doomsday is that sequel. This isn't easy for me to explain, but Doomsday seems filled with bitterness in ways that aren't at all subtle. Doomsday makes blatant references to the past games being a sequel for money pushed by outside influence. This is not a passion project. That this does not exist for art. Arguably, the ending of this game implies that it's all pointless. You can probably see why this is the black sheep of the franchise.
And I speak with our maker. Yes, the third one ended up being quite long.
So what? Who cares?
But the space on the stone is limited. And then there are the high localization costs.
And still, you talk and talk.
Originally, it was just going to be 3 commandments, but I've got the feeling it's missing a good conclusion.
What is your 3rd commandment, anyway?
Never make more than 3 commandments, unless the third one ends with...
Yes?
That's it.
Oh. Yeah, I get it. Okay, how about thou shalt never carve things in stone?
Oh, I like that. Thou shalt not write things in stone.
Yeah, that's a good one. The perfect conclusion for the series. I think you should do another one.
Don't you think it leaves too many questions open?
Maybe you shouldn't have carved it in stone. Now you need another commandment to reconcile you with your community.
I only ever wanted to be loved.
So that one clip I just showed is an example of the sort of meta references that they make. And there's tons of it throughout this game. And it's not at all subtle. And you kind of get the feeling that certain people didn't want to really make this game, but kind of did anyways at times. So I wouldn't really recommend people play it. It's better to just play the original trilogy of games. A lot of people say this game ruins the other games for them, and hopefully you can understand why. And that's why I don't think people should play this one. So don't play Deponia Doomsday. I would say it tends to affect people negatively. Okay, so those were 3 games I picked randomly with this wheel. I'm going to be doing this every week. I'm trying to expose myself to games I may not normally talk about, some old, some new, and give my thoughts on them. And if you want me to do an in-depth review on anything, just comment below and I'll consider doing that. If there's enough of a demand for something, I will do an actual review of something. But I'm going to end up spinning the wheel again. And I hope you join me next week, and we'll see what I get next week. And I'll see you then. This one actually is pretty popular with a lot of people. It's kind of a cult classic. So I'm going to return to it.